Forming passive sentences with modal verbs. Welcome to our English language learning video on forming passive sentences with modal verbs. In this video, we will explore how to use modal verbs in the passive voice, specifically focusing on the formation of passive sentences. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of how to construct passive sentences with modal verbs. Let's get started. Before we dive into forming passive sentences with modal verbs, let's quickly review what modal verbs are. Modal verbs are a special category of verbs that express modality, which means they indicate the attitude, ability, possibility, necessity, or permission related to the action of the main verb. Some common modal verbs include can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will, would, and ought to. In the passive voice, the subject of the sentence undergoes the action rather than performing it. The passive voice is formed using a form of the verb be, such as is, am, are, was, were, followed by the past participle of the main verb. When combining modal verbs with the passive voice, we follow a specific structure to convey different meanings. To form passive sentences with modal verbs, we use the structure modal verb plus be plus past participle. The modal verb remains in its base form, and be changes according to the subject and tense of the sentence. Let's look at some examples. 1. Active voice. She can solve the problem. Passive voice. The problem can be solved by her. 2. Active voice. They must complete the assignment. Passive voice. The assignment must be completed by them. 3. Active voice. We should recycle plastic bottles. Passive voice. Plastic bottles should be recycled by us. Notice how the modal verb can changes to be able to in the passive voice. Similarly, must changes to must be, and should remains unchanged. It's important to keep the modal verb in its base form while modifying the other parts of the sentence to form the passive voice. Different modal verbs convey different meanings and attitudes. Let's explore how some common modal verbs can be used in the passive voice. 1. Can, could, indicates ability or possibility. 2. Active voice. He can repair the car. Passive voice. The car can be repaired by him. 3. May, might, indicates permission or possibility. 4. Active voice. They may publish the article. Passive voice. The article may be published by them. 5. Must, indicates necessity or obligation. 6. Active voice. You must clean your room. Passive voice. Your room must be cleaned by you. 7. Should, ought to, indicates advice or recommendation. 8. Active voice. We should take care of the environment. Passive voice. The environment should be taken care of by us. Remember to modify the modal verb according to the subject and tense while keeping the main verb in the past participle form. Congratulations! You have now learned how to form passive sentences with modal verbs. Remember to follow the structure modal verb plus be plus past participle to convey different meanings in the passive voice. Practice constructing passive sentences using various modal verbs to enhance your English language skills. Keep